All right, and we just went live, so I'm going to tweet out a link to this. And if either of you want to do that as well, um, feel free. Uh, Obviously, no pressure. So I'm so excited for people to start tuning in as well. And things should be ready to go in just a few moments. All right, so for those of you who are just tuning in right now, um, I am just going to wait a few more moments for people to start watching. Thank you so much to everyone who's here, and I'm really excited for the reading tonight as well. See y'all in a few moments. Oh, not all right. So I see a few people starting to tune in now. So um, I'm going to uh, get this going. Um, Thank you so much to everyone who's watching, everyone who's been donating, everyone who's been signal boosting this as well. I'm really excited about the reading that's going to be happening tonight. We have four really incredible writers who I'm so excited about: Vanessa Angélica Villarreal, Rax King, George Abraham, and Joselia Hughes. And all of their work is uh, doing really, really exciting work, and I think speaks to each other and creates a kind of larger conversation as well, each of them. So before I introduce everyone, I wanted to introduce myself very briefly and then just provide some additional information as well, and then talk very briefly about the ongoing situation that's currently happening. I'm Zephyr Lisowski. I'm a poet and an editor. I do a lot of things, most primarily with Apogee Journal, where I'm on the poetry staff, but right now what I'm the most excited about is this reading. Away Message, which this is the third entry of, prioritizes writers who are queer and disabled and multiply marginalized in a number of ways who have been negatively impacted by things around COVID-19. And we have support from poets and writers to help pay the performers, but there's also a Venmo link on the YouTube page and on the website where you might be streaming this from as well. If you have any extra money laying around, 100% of what you would send to that Venmo link goes to the performers. And yeah, anything would be appreciated. So we'll be hearing from Vanessa, then Rax, then Joselia, then George in that order. And I'll read all of their bios in between each other. But before I do that, I just wanted to talk for a very brief second about larger issues as well. I'd be remiss, actually, if I didn't mention the violences that have yet again become more visible between starting to plan this reading and a few weeks ago and the actual date tonight. And I just wanted to say at the start of this reading that I, and by extension, Away Message as a reading, stands in solidarity with the ongoing rebellion in Minneapolis and elsewhere, and stands with all the protesters and all those physically unable to protest tonight and over the past few days as well, celebrating the lives and denouncing the murders of, among others, Breonna Taylor, Tony McDade, and George Floyd. And by extension, the deaths around COVID-19, which are also, like these, symptomatic of structural white supremacy at work. There's a link on the website below the Venmo to pay performers to also support the Black Visions Collective and others who are doing work in the greater Minneapolis area around this. I'd really recommend or suggest you support them if you can. But finally, I just wanted to affirm my stance and the importance of Black futures, joys, work, and life throughout this series and throughout my larger arts practice as well. So with that said, thank you again for everyone who is tuning in. And I just wanted to take a moment to introduce our first reader. And I will be doing that once I find the bio that I foolishly put on my phone instead of putting right in front of me. Vanessa Angélica Villarreal was born in the Rio Grande Valley to Mexican immigrants. She's the author of the 2019 Whiting Award-winning collection Beast Meridian, which came out from Noemi Press in 2017, is a 2019 Kate Tufts Discovery Award finalist, and is the winner of the John A. Robertson Award for Best First Book of Poetry from the Texas Institute of Letters. Her work has appeared in the New York Times, Paris Review, the Boston Review, Los Angeles Review of Books, the Rumpus, the Academy of American Poets Poem a Day, Buzzfeed Reader, and Poetry Magazine, among others, where her poem F equals Root times Future was honored with the 2019 Friends of Literature Prize. She's a recipient of fellowships from CantoMundo and Jack Jones Literary Arts, is a doctoral candidate in English literature and creative writing at the University of Southern California in Los Angeles, and is raising her son with the help of a loyal dog. Please help me in welcoming Vanessa. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Zephyr. I'm really honored to be here with everybody, especially people like whose writing has been so nourishing, especially in these last few months and this past year. So I'm really honored to be here with you all and to virtually meet you. Hopefully we'll be able to hug one day, maybe next year, who knows. So I just wanted to, I have a really hard time deciding what to read tonight, especially with everything that's going on in the world. It just feels like a lot of work just feels insufficient for this moment. So I actually came back to my book to find a poem about the sort of white supremacist education we all have to kind of contend with and learn from a very young age. And so I'm going to read part of my Assimilation Rooms sequence. And this poem is called Assimilation Progress Report. Jim. Learn, white girl nipples are your erotic shame. The only body you long for is hers. Shotgun, pass the smoke in the locker room, shower, run for hours, even when they throw rocks at your head because they found out you're a dyke. Physics, learn 1, parallax, noun, the effect whereby an object appears to differ according to viewer position. 2, matter, noun, physical substance which occupies space, an affair or situation under consideration, the reason for distress or a problem. 3, the tricks of English, tricks of the trade. Texas history, learn a swindle, Mexico lost. Its Pacific gold vein mountains to someone else's destiny manifest multiple choice. A, be quiet. B, as paperwork, so that the cotillion may accept their blonde praise, their every award. C, hold hands with their white boys. D, raise your question. E, they'll escort you out, put you in basics with the other. F, not honors material. English, on the road, white boys aching oats are high literature, high and well-funded wandering, while Papi is pulled over in that same desert, asked to show his papers before el baile. Learn Sal Paradise, loved a Mexican girl, but not enough to name her. And shh, Brandon from Wimbledon is talking, and he is 3-story brilliant, ha ha ha. The voices that matter, noun, are the people who matter, noun. Ivy Bright and Ivory. Government, learn Confederate flag is states' rights. On the test, the doublespeak that makes right a boundless estate makes rightless the bound black body. Confederate flag stickers on mud-spun Jeep, puka shelled, the boys go ridin', protected as a plantation. The founders, holy signatures guarantee it, you see, their liberty. A. B, our terror. Work, learn to wipe that with a smile off your face. From 3 p.m. to 1 a.m., side work, then homework. Use the front computer to clock in and out. Otherwise, in the back room, his hand will hard between my legs again. The booth's empty after midnight. Expulsion. Lighter, confiscated, alternative, school at morning, pat down, turnout pockets, white tongues, snitch, bag check, arms up, someone's head slammed on cement bricks. 1, parallax, noun, the effect of position upon viewing an object. Parent signature. So that's one poem. And I think I'm just going to read one more. I'm excited to get to the other readers here. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen so that the form, I'm going to talk a little bit about the form. Oh, wait a second. I actually can't share my screen. Is it possible to?
No, let me grant you that privilege. I'm sorry about that.
That's okay. That's all right. Anyway, in the meantime, while Zephyr is figuring out the Zoom stuff, I read this incredible article by Charles W. Mills called White Time. And essentially what it talks about is how time or temporal inequality is one of the many unseen conditions of race and racialization. So, you know, in terms of, you know, lifespans diminishing on the part of Black folks and people who endure racialized labor, they increase lifespans on the side of whiteness. You know, history is this contested space where, you know, once, you know, the narrative of discovery happens in the Americas, right? History from the point of encounter starts to disappear, right? These cultures start to disappear. Memory starts to disappear. Memory becomes a contested ground. Time becomes a contested ground. History is this contested ground. And so, you know, you start to notice this sort of disappearing of time in historical context to make way for this other timeline. So that's where that form came from. Did you figure out the screen sharing, Zephyr?
So it's taking a moment, but I could share my screen since I have a copy of your poem up there and then just scroll up and down if that works.
Yeah.
All right. And what was the one that you were planning on reading?
It's Root Future.
Oh, yes, yes, yes. Okay. Pulling that up right now. Thank you for your patience for this unanticipated technological snafu. Okay.
And if not, I can just start reading it. That's okay. It's not a big deal. I just, for accessibility issues.
No, of course. Okay. Let me. All right. Can you see the screen now?
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So this is Root Future. Year 0. Matrilineal equals repeat. Cycle, inherit, does not exist. 0 equals Carmen. Blooming ranch field, a throat packed with cotton, no choice but to marry her eldest off to the hoof-beaten storm. 0 equals Angélica. Escape the hoof-beaten storm, escape the garnet-eyed doctor, escape the stillborn country that pummels you to rags. 0 equals Sylvia. English synonyms for future. Escape, amnesty, green card, possibility, dream, I promise, I will, I do, pregnant, labor, indebted, hospitalized, soul, provider, burden, loan, insufficient. 0 equals Vanessa. Witness this pattern now cycling into me. Again, lost eddies of time, lost again. I submerge my body in the river of unclaimed memory. Swim again to its cervix and speak into the sea. I did everything I was supposed to do, and still an unbroken line of broken lines. 1 equals Joaquin. If someone is going to make it out of this dream alive, let it be you unbraiding from me. Let it be that this cord, its arcing line, when viewed from above, is an infinite field. And let the field open for you like a bell, its bend veined with a lace of new stars, and let each new star echo on earth as a blossom, bursting from the black, so that you, born from this blood-dark grief marbled with error, can still be perfect. Let every good beast carry you in its eye, open with wild knowing. And let every sagging telephone line carry my voice to you when I'm gone, when you're lonely or scared. And in a sleep soft drift, you'll think you hear me in the kitchen. And yes, there we are again, reflected in the bend of the steel spoon, the milk still spinning as we lick off the chocolate. And there we are again in the rust-burnt dusk, embers whirling off the mountainside, the last sight we'll ever have of an ocean. And yes, I'm sorry. I am so, so sorry. What else could I have done to stop the cell from splitting? Year 1, set, patrilineal equals new, AD, T equals timeline, D equals discovery, conquest, 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 start chronometer, start collective memory, start archive. Before the ship's arrival, there is no history. Any subject exhibiting any of the following conditions will be removed and denied re-entry into real time. Undocumented, uncivilized, uncontrollable, unskilled, unwell, unaccompanied, unassimilated, uncolonized, unclean, unintelligible, unclaimed, unmarried, unattractive, unbecoming, unemployed, unauthorized, unprofitable, uninsured, underfoot, disabled, disappeared, diseased, disadvantaged, discarded, disassociated, disordered, dissenting, indebted, prehistoric, pre-agricultural, pre-capitalist, pre-discovery, pre-colonial, pre-Christian, primitivity, pre-literate, precarious, prey. Real future function. Function, time, discovery time equals infinity. And after the coral bleaches to bone and the poles thaw and the clouds shatter a searing rain, the SpaceX colony will have already built an electromagnetic wall to border its orbit. And in the field, the bent workers will still scoop tender chard under a burning sky for the empire. And even the mountains will kneel in witness and surrender to the sinking to greet once again that same ancient ocean. And when the last elephant falls, we will know the end of memory, and time will go white, and the future white, and the past white, wiped immaculate of fault, all time collapsed into a single line, all histories consumed by the official record and its impeccable family lines traced back through the whitened field itself so straight, and us broken in broken trees to make way for the future, progressing ever forward in a line of suns. But any voyage that assumes a forward course will loop to its origin and cross itself, and so the compass rose will enclose the world into the shape of a gun sight. And when there are no new lands to map in blood, how pale will the horse of the last sunrise look underwater? Learn from this, little one. Time was never a line but a field, and you are occurring alongside the past. And when I recognize abuelitos laugh in you, or offer a bending lily to the dead, we are born and together again. And every minute I choose you, choose to fight, and don't drive off the mountain. I encounter the infinite as the will to survive. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you so much for that. Oh my God, the infinite as the will to survive. Both of those were so incredible. For those of you who are just tuning in now, welcome. There's a Venmo link in the bio if you have any money to help pay performers. That's at Zeph-Lasowski. the link is on the YouTube and on the tiny URL. That was incredible. Also, speaking of SpaceX, shout out to Elon Musk's rocket exploding earlier today. I'm not sure if any of y'all saw that. I definitely did multiple times. Before say, yeah.
Okay, bye everybody.
What was that?
He's a piece of shit.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Wait, critical question. Was he in the rocket when it exploded? Because that would have been better.
If we could be so lucky. I don't think he was in the rocket. Otherwise, that probably would have been the main tilt of the news articles. Although, I don't know, I love the idea of Elon Musk being so universally reviled that if he died in a rocket explosion, people would focus on the rocket's casualty rather than his own life. A girl can dream. On that note, I am so excited to introduce our next reader, Rax King. And for those of you who are tuning in as well, there's an access document if you want to follow along. But Rax is a James Beard Award nominated bitch. She's the author of the collection The People's Elbow, 30 recitatives on rape and wrestling, which came out with Ursus Americanus Press in 2018 and is getting reissued with this really gorgeous looking book design this year. And the forthcoming essay collection, Tacky, which is coming out from Vintage Books. What the fuck? And her work can be found as well in Glamour, Catapult, and Electric Literature. She writes a monthly column, Store Bought is Fine, which has hot takes about the Food Network and other things. Please help welcome Rax.
Hi, everybody. So I prepared my own set list a few days ago. Things seemed a little bit different a few days ago, and I had the same situation, I guess, today that Vanessa talked about having. Nothing that I have written really feels adequate for this precise moment, and it's sad. It's fucking sad out there, and I hope that everybody's okay, and I am committed to sharing what resources are available to me to share. So that being said, this first poem of mine, I wrote the majority of several years ago when I got arrested for something called public indecency, and then just recently took another look at it and decided to finish it and start reading it places. So they throw girls in jail for that, you know. I was suckling a pear and trying not to violate too much halakha, but like, come on, you know? What is the juiciest fruit? What cream is richest? I want to be your best or your worst, as long as I'm the most. My legs don't bend that way, but for you, I am willing to break them. For only you, I am swampy. I am old growth and sugarcane. I would do anything for you as long as it's useless. I would drink a finger, drink a fist, a foot, a thigh. Aproned and becoming, I disobey the limits of my sex. Somewhere, a man of the house occupies his chair, while somewhere I lose a boot. You could find it, if you wanted to, tumbled wanton before your feet, wherever they are. Thank you. I don't know if y'all can hear the ice cream truck outside. I really hope that you can, because it's bringing so much joy to my evening. It's been going on for hours and hours, and it just won't stop. So, ice cream. All right, this is Divorce 1. It's about my divorce. One could say it's the first poem I wrote about my divorce. I say octopuses, but you argue for octopi, and who could believe we'd wrestle years this way in the fungal dark, secret as a truffle forage? I say we're both wrong. You say wrong